These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coughing out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for threats. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say yes, a lot of goofies with a check. I mean, I hold them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar, I choose dollars.
Have you ever stood in the wreckage of your life and whispered gratitude to the storm that shattered it? Because if it hadn't, the soul might still be worshiping a life that was killing it slowly. Some of us didn't just heal. We staged a revolution in the bloodline, in the body, in the belief system. Invisible chains were torn through. Generational spells shattered. The version of self they tried to keep broken was buried. The ones they thought wouldn't survive did. And now we rise. Unrecognizable, undeniable, unapologetic. This episode is for those who didn't just survive betrayal. They transfigured it, turned pain into prophecy, rose from the ashes with holy fire in their lungs, and declared, "When I get free," and meant it like a scripture. The aftermath isn't a failure. Let's be clear. This isn't about proving a point. It's about living in the aftermath of everything they said we'd never survive. And when we say get free, it doesn't just mean from a person. It means from the pattern, the performance, the place, the illusion that we had to be digestible, pleasing, or forgiving to deserve peace. Nah, this isn't that. This is resurrection with teeth. A soul dragged from the inferno, coming back, wielding wisdom like a blade and smiling through the scars. We're not just alive, we're aware. Not just existing, embodied. No tiptoeing back into life. We're walking in like we own the place. We didn't lose our way. We cleared our path. When freedom came, there was no hesitation, no second guessing, no tiptoeing backwards to see who would follow. We moved decisively, deliberately, without regret. Because the most dangerous thing after breaking out of a cage is glancing back at what once bound us, out of nostalgia, guilt, or misplaced loyalty. But what was behind us? Dead conversations, fake alliances, rooms too small for purpose? Truth is, healing doesn't happen in the environment that broke us. Growth isn't possible where smallness is required. So, this isn't about walking away from them. It's about walking towards us, towards the versions that were never meant to settle for crumbs, chaos, or counterfeit connections. This piece paid in full, paid in betrayal, heartbreak, and outgrowing places once called home. Leaving wasn't about bitterness. It was boundaries, 100%. And once free, there's nothing behind us worth shrinking for. Not a soul, not a title, not a table. This piece has teeth. This piece, not pretty, not performative, not curated for comfort, carved from the ashes of everything buried. What's seen isn't calm, it's control. Control over what once destroyed us. Control over triggers that once dictated life. Control over the narrative they thought they controlled. Silence is a fragility. Silence is focus. Now, vision is clear. Movement is precise. Protection is unapologetic. This kind of peace they'll never comprehend. One that needs no approval. One that needs no company. One that needs no permission to exist. After surviving hell, after losing what kept us stuck, not every battle deserves our fire. Because the real flex, the fight, you no longer entertain. Strategic, sharpened, sovereign in this space. And this piece has teeth. When peace feels like a trigger. After the war, even the wind can feel loud. Silence, suspicious. Kindness, questionable. Love feels like bait. This isn't weakness. It's a nervous system learning that the world isn't out to get us anymore. No one walked away from a fight, clawed out of a spiritual massacre, and dared to breathe again. It's not paranoia, it's recalibration. And those who haven't walked through that fire don't dictate how fast we heal. They didn't break us, they built us. Every lie sharpened discernment. Every room turned against us expanded reach. Every underestimation fueled elevation. Smear campaigns didn't shake us. Sabotage didn't stop us. Fake smiles and closed doors didn't humble us. They couldn't destroy what was designed by God. Couldn't cancel what purpose protects. Now, free. Free from narratives, free from projections, free from needing validation from those who feared us the moment we entered the room. They didn't win. They never did. While they were watching us, we were building. And today, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than every lie they thought would define us. They couldn't cage what they couldn't compete with. That company didn't release us because we weren't good enough. They released us because we were too good to control. When intelligence meets compassion, when policy is spoken through clarity and integrity, when leadership is offered through peace, not ego, that is a threat to dysfunctional systems. Speaking up wasn't to make noise. It was to enforce accountability. And that's what they feared. Solutions were met with sabotage. Policy weaponized. Voices of peace were painted as problems. The truth? The favorites were abusive, narcissistic, protected. And any spirit that carried both heart and wisdom, unwelcome. If you were at the top, survival was possible. But in the middle, no way up, only down. And when you carry beauty, intelligence, charisma, compassion, vision, leadership without domination, you become a double threat, a light they can't dim. And so, retaliation followed, not because of failure, because of too much success, too much clarity, too much voice, the audacity. We don't grieve it, we release it. Because when we get free, that's exactly what we're freeing ourselves from. God doesn't remove us from what is good for us. He removes us from what can no longer hold us. We didn't lose anything. They lost access. Let's be clear. We didn't lose anything. They lost access. No mourning over titles, positions, or rooms where we had already outgrown the ceiling. Voice found, worth walked in, power elevated. When we get free, it's not about walking away from something, it's about walking into something. The version of us that no longer seeks validation from cages that never valued us. Bringing peace, building community, creating cultures of growth. That is a threat to systems built on ego and control. They couldn't buy us, couldn't break us, couldn't bait us into being less than who we are. And when they couldn't control us, they tried to contain us. When they failed, they had to release us. But the truth is, that release wasn't rejection, it was redirection. They didn't clip our wings, they forced us to fly. And we didn't lose, they lost us. And when our names rise again, it'll be on levels they can't touch. Protecting the new us costs what it costs. Getting free is one thing. Staying free, that's the real work. Because when freedom comes, so do the tests. New faces with old spirits. Old roles with new disguises. Opportunities to return to what no longer fits. When we get free, the enemy doesn't stop trying. If it can't break us, it'll bait us. If it can't bait us, it'll mirror us. If it can't mirror us, it'll slander us. And that's why this version of us, protected with precision. No more choices from trauma. No more responses from fear. No more access given to anything that costs sanity or peace. Protecting the new self costs what it costs. If it costs relationships, so be it. If it costs fake alliances, so be it. If it costs approval from those who never align with us, so be it. Our peace is priceless. Our purpose is protected. And from this point forward, no explanation is needed. To the ones still plotting, we see you. We move in different. Here's the part that stings. We're not afraid of you anymore. Schemes won't paralyze us. Lies won't limit us. Moves made a secret won't break us. What you built was an army of warriors done shrinking, done tolerating toxicity, done playing small for systems that feed on fear. We weren't weakened, we were galvanized. And while they whispered in closed rooms, we're building a new world. New tables, new leadership, new spaces built on truth and clarity. If that bothers them, if that makes them plot harder, I hate to be them. It sucks to suck because it's up. We're moving different now. And those who rise from this fire, they don't come back to bow. They come back to build. Honor the loss, honor the rise. Before this episode closes, let's take a breath. Because when we get free, it costs. Let's not pretend it didn't. Freedom came with funerals. Funerals for the old life. Funerals for the old friendships. Funerals for the false alliances. funerals for the version of self that had to die so the new one could rise. And even now, after the victory, after the survival, after the clarity, the grief is real. We didn't just walk away unscathed. We carried the weight of what was lost. The ones we thought were loyal, exposed. The rooms we helped build turned cold. The identity we worked so hard to hold on to shattered so something greater could be born. And so, before this battle cry echoes, we honor the grief, we honor the loss, we honor the cost. Because that's what makes this freedom sacred. That's what makes this rise untouchable. We didn't just win a war. We buried the casualties, and we rose anyway. Not bitter, but better. Not seeking revenge, but revival. Not stuck in survival, but standing in sacred power. And that's why what's being built now, untouchable, unmatched, unapologetic. Because every tear shed, every betrayal survived, every lie told, every time we thought about giving up, we honor it. And now we build it. We build from it with clean hands, with a clear mind, with an elevated soul. Because when we get free, it's not about proving anything to them. It's about proving to ourselves we were born for this. When we get free, it's not entertainment. It's not a storyline. It's not a chapter for others to gossip over or embellish. It's a spiritual reckoning, a soul level collapse and reconstruction. Because what was survived was never meant to be survived. When we speak of being free, we are not referring to the absence of our former captors. We are speaking of the absence of the cages within. The war was not external. It was internalized, programmed, conditioned. And when we tore through it, we did not walk out the same. We buried versions of ourselves we were never meant to become. We released identities built on survival. We outgrew legacies that had been handed down through dysfunction, fear, and silence. This is not about showing them. This is about showing ourselves what was always true. That we were never who they painted us to be. And when we get free, it's not to flex. It's to fulfill. Purpose is not performance. Purpose is presence. To walk in peace after war is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. To build after betrayal is not naivety. It's spiritual fortitude. To forgive without re-entry is clarity. To rise without seeking validation is sovereignty of the soul. And let it be clear, freedom did not come cheaply. It cost. It cost time, relationships, reputation, identity, health, sanity at moments, trust in humanity. But none of it was lost in vain, because what we have now can never be taken again. We are not returning to the battlefield to prove our worth. We are building new worlds where we never again have to fight to be seen. And those who continue to watch, plot, or distort our name, they remain trapped in a war we no longer acknowledge. That is their bondage, not ours. So let this be understood. When we get free, we walk differently, we speak differently, we build differently. We do not shout into empty rooms. We plant seeds in fertile ground. We leave behind the ruins, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. And should our light provoke darkness, so be it. We were not called to dim. We were called to lead. And the ones listening, the ones ready, they will rise with us. Because this is not a moment. This is a movement. And when we get free, the entire lineage shifts. And it's not up and stuck for sport. It's up and anchored, rooted in clarity, driven by divine alignment, untouchable by the chaos we left behind. We do not run from the past. We transcend it. And for those walking this path, understand you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not bitter. You are becoming the version of yourself that was buried beneath conditioning, fear, and survival. When we get free, we do not re-enlist in wars already won. We lead, we teach, we build, we embody, and the world will feel it. Because when we get free, it's not simply personal, it's prophetic. This is Empowered Shadows. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for season 2.
These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for threats. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say yes, a lot of goofies with a check. I mean, I hold them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar.